waking up after a full night of rest and still being exhausted, having extreme brain fog to the point where you can't complete your workday, living in a body where you constantly feel inflamed and puffy, and the thought of losing weight is an absolute nightmare. This is the reality for a lot of women whose internal health has been neglected for so long. No wonder why everyone and their grandma on TikTok is trying to balance their hormones right now. With all of the awareness that is now finally being brought to women's health after years of a primarily male research-based health industry, women are finally getting the attention and answers that they've been asking for, but have been told that it's all in their head. For years, I've been struggling with these mystery symptoms of irregular gut health, inability to concentrate, light sensitivity, chronic inflammation. The list goes on and on. Ever since the end of my bodybuilding prep in October, I've been on a journey to discover the root cause of all of my symptoms to uproot them once and for all.
I am a little over 21 days into bioidentical HRT, and to be honest, I don't feel like I feel that massive of a difference. I think for the last few days since I started my progesterone, we're doing estrogen cream days 1 to 21 and then progesterone days 14 to 28. I've been on progesterone for like the last 3 or 4 days. I think that I'm retaining a little bit of water, like kind of feeling the feels as you get closer to your period as PMS starts to creep up. So a positive sign. I will say it's kind of interesting to start feeling that again, but I am super, super hopeful for that.
Post-production Caroline wanted to let you know that I felt like absolute dog shit after just like 7 days of taking it. So we ended up pulling the plug early, and we won't be utilizing this going forward for another couple of months until we get to the root cause, which I will talk about later on in this video.
And then also for the new doctor that I am starting with, which I will give you guys updates on later on today. We went with a cream instead of the patch, which is pretty typical of estrogen hormone replacement therapy because of the really consistent release of it while it just sits on your skin. But I wanted to have multiple types of estrogen being released into my body. So this estrogen cream is not just E2, which is estradiol. It also contains another form of estrogen called E1, which does have more anti-inflammatory and more protective properties for the body. I think I have like 10 more days of this cycle, and what we're trying to do is stimulate a cycle from my body by using the hormone replacement therapy. So fingers crossed, we will see. The doctor that I talked to last that prescribed this to me said that within like 2 to 3 cycles, we should hopefully see something. But since I started working with that new doctor, she's kind of overseeing all of the things, and we got some stuff to dig up in here that could very well be impacting my thyroid and my hormones. So I'm really excited for the new beginning of this journey.
Something that I have been trying to do in the morning is get out into the sun. And when you can get sunlight in your eyes within the first 15 minutes of waking up, it helps your body establish healthy cortisol patterns by releasing cortisol when you first wake up in the morning. And you're also getting some of the benefits of red light therapy, which people pay $1 billion to go sit in a sauna for, when you can just get it right outside. You guys know the next thing I love to do is drink my coffee, but of course we are drinking decaf because I don't skimp on my coffee, but we're not going to raise those cortisol levels any more than they need to be. This is one of my favorite morning rituals that really just allows me to slow down and be present and enjoy the morning, and I take that to go sit down and journal, where I write down everything that I'm grateful for. Doing this boosts your oxytocin levels, which in turn also helps to lower your cortisol levels.
Today is just an upper body day, so I'm just gonna go train at my apartment gym. But regardless of the workout, we never train fasted. So I have this little plum that I'm going to eat. Ideally, I would wanna have like a full meal. Sometimes I can do that on like the weekends, but I find that during the week, if I procrastinate the workout later on in my day, it just doesn't happen. So I have some sort of little piece of fruit, and then I go work out, and then I come home and actually start my day. Yesterday, I decided I was going to hair oil, so I look like Lord Farquaad right now. So when I come home, I'm gonna have to wash that out. I might do a little protein mask situation, but we will see. Do you ever just pick something up at the grocery store and forget that it existed, and then you try it again and you're like, why did I ever stop eating these? That's me with plums. I don't think I've had these in like over a year, honestly. And they're so good. Why did I forget about them?
For the first time ever in my life, I have a love-hate relationship with training. I have always been the kind of person that is just so excited to go to the gym every day. And I found that when I came out of my bodybuilding prep and I got diagnosed with Hashimoto's, I had to really pull back on intensity and training, and moderation is just not in my vocabulary. I am a balls to the wall kind of person. So I found that if I wasn't really like pushing myself in the gym, I didn't really want to be there, which is not the best relationship with exercise, and I'm fully aware about that. But what I found myself doing was like avoiding going to the gym because I just felt like I couldn't lift, and I just felt like a little bitch, to be quite honest. And what I have come to realize is, one, I need to speak more kindly to myself, especially in this season of life. And two, the ability to move my body is something that just should not be taken for granted. And I worked with women who are also on a fertility journey or on a hormone healing journey, and I have found that different women have different tolerances for exercise. So it's really about finding what works best for you and also what feels really good to you. Some women need to take time completely out of the gym. I have tried that. I have had clients try that, and I have found that movement is medicine. And ultimately, when you have somebody that really just enjoys exercise and movement so deeply, when you take away something that they love, it ends up causing more stress and ends up causing more problems to the problems that we're trying to solve. So instead of me trying all these different forms of movement, I've been trying Pilates classes, and I still do enjoy like hot yoga classes, but I just really enjoy lifting. I'm so excited for the opportunity to get back to bodybuilding again one day and to put some muscle on. I have definitely lost a lot of muscle in this process just because I haven't been able to train and like really do anything. But me just sitting on my ass at home because I'm not able to push myself to the level that I'm normally able to push myself is not serving me. It's not serving my tiny ass muscles that would be just withering away at home. So the best thing that I can do is train around maintenance volume. I'm keeping it at like a 3 to 4 RIR. So right when the set gets juicy, I am stopping, which is like the greatest tease. Not so greatest, but you know what I mean, in the entire world. But I'm learning to be okay with it and just accepting that even if I'm not where I want to be right now, I can be grateful for what I am able to do right now and make the most of it. So it's not going to be like this forever. I know that in the next couple of months, as I start to feel better, I'm going to be able to actually push myself in the gym and put that tissue back on. It was there before, and it's hardest to put it on the first time. So your body does have muscle memory. If you guys were lifting at the time of the lockdown when COVID happened, a lot of us were worried about whether we were going to lose our gains from being so detrained, and all of us were just trying to maintain what we had. And then when you get back into the gym, it comes back relatively quickly. So I know that that's going to happen to me once I'm actually able to get back into the gym and start training at a volume and intensity that can hopefully produce a little bit of growth. It's just the waiting game and practicing the self-love and the positive self-talk in these moments when I'm not able to fully be where I need to be right now. So even though I am a dietitian and I work with women who also go through these same struggles, I just want to be fully honest that I am also struggling with it myself as well. And I fought it for a long time. And to be honest, my body was just straight up not having a good time when I was trying to push myself way harder than I needed to be. My body was requiring so much food. I was tired all the time. I was super low energy. So now I'm just training to feel good, and I will continue to do that until my body is at a place where I can do something a little different.
I just finished my breakfast, which was very balanced, by the way. It was potatoes with egg whites and spinach and 2 eggs. Yes, I'm still on that fixation right now. I don't know if I'm ever going to leave it for the foreseeable future, but I did just do a taste test on my Instagram of these cookies and cream cookies that the company sent over to me. They're naturally gluten and dairy free, and I'm still eating in that manner. I will say I'm like a little bit more lax with the whole like paleo situation because I don't want to not have the random oat as long as it's gluten free. You know, I'm not like going out of my way to eat that. But the whole point of this that I wanted to show you is that I am swapping out plastics for reusable things. So normally I would just throw this into like a big old plastic Ziploc bag, but these are reusable, they're BPA free, and this is helping my hormones because they're not endocrine disrupting. So slowly but surely we are transitioning over into a less toxic lifestyle, because that allows me the wiggle room to do things like eat the occasional oat, right? So we control what we can control and decrease the disruption where we can, so that we can eat cookies sometimes. I could eat this whole peanut butter.
Here, I'm just going to do a little dry brushing before I hop into the shower. This not only helps to exfoliate your skin, but it does help to move the lymphatic fluid in your body, which can help with your detox processes. I kind of have a hard time with my detoxing processes right now, as my test results have shown, and I have a hard time sweating too, so this kind of helps me out. With your nutrition, this is one of those things that you just can't ignore with any sort of health-related goal. Let medicine be thy food and food be thy medicine. And that is so true. Shout out to me struggling with this egg white broken omelet situation. But I really do try and make all of my meals relatively balanced with proteins, carbs, and fats. We put a heavy emphasis on fats with hormone levels, but protein and carbs are just as important, as well as adequate calories. When it comes to balancing your hormones in particular, you want to test and not guess, because what hormones are we actually talking about? There are so many posts and blogs and articles out there about how to balance your hormones and what supplements to take, but we're not talking about whether it's sex hormones. What sex hormones are we talking about? If it's blood sugar, or if it's thyroid hormones. So you want to get so specific on what your body needs and what is going on. So I have had multiple rounds of blood tests. I recently got a Dutch test, and since starting with a doctor, yes, I did start with the doctor, and I am so grateful to be working underneath someone. I really did my due diligence in trying to figure everything out that I could. And it ultimately just started really stressing me out and consuming a lot of my time and my mental energy. And I really just want to put my hands up and just let someone who has been through it and specializes in it handle it. And I am excited to learn along that journey. Just like hiring a fitness coach or any other mentor, I know that it's only going to expedite my recovery and get me closer to putting on more muscle and getting my pro card one day, which I am so excited that that is even a possibility to be able to do, to be able to get back on stage and to be able to bodybuild again and pursue a passion of mine. So I am so excited about it. But on our consult, she let me know that there's probably something way deeper going on. And I didn't even know this, but apparently the townhouse that I lived in Georgia before I moved to California in 2021 had mold in it. And I lived in the basement. I had no idea. And I think my parents told me in passing, and I didn't think too much of it. And then all of the dots connected. She was like, have you ever been exposed to mold? And then I was like, oh my God, wait, yes, I have. So we are doing a couple more tests in addition to the Dutch test that I've done previously. So we're doing this Mosaic Diagnostics mycotoxin test, which is going to be testing for mold. And then we're also doing a hair tissue minerals analysis, which is going to be testing my hair for heavy metals. I'm a little salty about this one because this means that I have to cut some of my hair out, which is annoying, but I'm really interested to see what comes up here because she thinks that I was exposed to something. I'm not quite sure what it is, but that is so much more than I would have thought of on my own if I would have just kept going down the rabbit hole. I'm sure that I would have stumbled upon it at some point, but it would have taken me so much more time to figure it out and then also figure out how to treat myself effectively and actually get rid of it. So realistically, she said we're looking at like a year or so, and it seems like a long time, but if it means that I can get my health back and not feel like I'm just trapped inside of a body that can't think or is so light sensitive, like as I'm sitting here right now, this light coming from outside is quite literally distracting me from like seeing this. It's not even that bright. So I've just been living like that. I didn't even know that that was like a bad thing. So I am so excited to know what it feels like to just be human again and to have really good health. So test, don't guess, make sure that you're figuring out what is actually going on so that you can be treating the root cause. And two, if it's stressing you out, if you don't know what you're doing, make sure that you are one, educating yourself, because we do have to be an advocate for ourselves, but get help where you need it. So I'm gonna drop the information of the doctor that I'm working with below. She works with autoimmune conditions and bodybuilders as well and helping them get back on stage. So it was the perfect little blend. She's a friend too. So excited for that part of my journey, and I will update you guys on all of the tests. I know that I've talked about showing you guys what my Dutch test results were, what that came back, and what we're doing about it. But once we get all of this stuff back, then we're really gonna know what we're doing about it. So I'll give a full update on all of the things. The last thing that I want to leave you guys with is to not get so wrapped up in detoxifying your environment, because that is quite a rabbit hole that you can get sucked down. I have started to make efforts in getting like glass Tupperwares and those reusable plastic bags, swapping my cosmetic products to ones that have cleaner ingredients, especially fragrances that tend to be pretty large endocrine disruptors and can cause things like headaches. These are big in not only cosmetic products, but also in things like house candles, which is so sad because I love my Bath & Body Works candles. But instead, I use things like this humidifier with some essential oils in it. So I'm just doing what I can do. And the biggest thing that you can do is just take care of your mental space, because yes, this is a physical issue, but you have to address the mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of yourself in order to completely heal.